Hey everybody, Eric here from Around to It Videos, and today we're going to review the Parkzone Sukhoi 26M. It's a micro 3D airplane. It's a 4-channel airplane and it's pretty awesome. I've been flying it already for a while and I really do enjoy flying it. I've come up with a couple of modifications that I'd like to share with you today that I think will make it last a little bit longer, and maybe you'll try them yourself. But anyway, it comes as a bind and fly version only. I got this through Horizon Hobby for about $100, and everything that was in the box is on the table. So I'm going to bring the camera in, let you get a close-up, and then we'll take it out to the flying field, okay? Okay, this is everything that's going to come out of the box that you're going to get with your bind and fly version of the Sukhoi. You're going to get an extra prop. It comes with one battery. It's a 3.7 volt, one cell LiPo battery. You're going to get a battery charger for it that takes 4 AA batteries, and your manual. Now, me, since I like flying these things an awful lot, I got an extra battery, so I've got 2 batteries for it. It's a worthwhile investment. I suggest you buy one because you don't want the fun to stop with just one battery. But anyway, let's take the top off of it and let's get a closer look. Now, it's a pretty well planned out plane. Right here, it's a 4-channel plane, and you see right here, that is the servo for your rudder. That servo right there is for your elevator, and this servo right here, that controls both aileron surfaces. Pretty ingenious. It works really good. I've been flying it for quite a while. I've got a couple of modifications I want to show to you real quick about the plane before we go any further. Now, me, I don't know if you're going to be flying like me. I like to fly outdoors. I can fly in a gym sometimes, not all the time. But most of the people, you're probably like me, you're going to want to fly this in your front yard or at the schoolyard, local park. You find out that with the wheels right here, when you hit the grass, if you're not on a very smooth surface, when you hit the grass, it's going to turn over, it's going to flip. You might end up breaking something. Another thing is, on the back, the rudder has a wheel on it for turning, and the wheel sometimes will catch in the grass. Well, like it did on me. And I actually broke the rudder fin and had to replace it. But I got smarter when I did it, and I took my tail wheel off and I replaced it with a skidder right here. I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom in real quick. I've got a little skidder on mine now, and I made it with some thin wire that I got from the hobby shop right there. The wire is about the same size as the control rods on the plane itself, so it doesn't really add any weight to the plane. And instead of dragging on the wheel, which might catch on something and break your rudder, you can now just let it skid on this right here with no problems. And since I like to fly outdoors, and I'm probably going to be flying in the grass somewhere, might not have a runway, I just take my wheels off. It's that easy. Drop them, and I belly landed, just like that. And see, with the skidder there now, that protects the rudder from being damaged. And the other modification I had, since I'm going to be running it without the wheels, like probably most of you are, what I did is I added some tape, some extra tape right here, right across this lower section of the plane. This is the part of the plane right here that's going to drag when it hits the ground. So if you just wrap a few pieces of tape across this, it'll help protect it and make that foam last a little bit longer. And with my skidder right there, it's going to protect the rudder. And if I decide that I want to fly somewhere that has a smooth surface, all I have to do is put the wheels back in, and boom, we're back in business again. With the little skidder plate or the little skidder wire that I've got on there, it will land and take off on any smooth surface, no problems. Now, it might not turn as quick because I don't have that wheel on the rudder like it used to, but I'm protecting that rudder. I'm keeping that rudder from harm's way. Okay, one more thing we want to look at before we go to the flying field is battery placement. Now you see you've got an extra large space for the battery, which means that you can put the battery in back like that, or you can move it all the way forward like that. Now believe it or not, even on this small microplane, the center of gravity does make a difference on it, just like a larger remote control plane. Moving the battery forward is better for people that aren't as comfortable with flying a 3D plane. It makes it nose heavy, and what that does is it makes it a little bit easier for you to control because it slows the tail down just a little bit. It doesn't make it as squirrely. Now, taking that battery and moving it to as far back as possible as you can makes it more tail heavy. Same thing that goes for this plane that will go for any other plane. When the tail is heavier than the nose, it gives it a little bit more agility when you're flying. Now, me personally, depends on how windy it is as to where I put the battery. Normally my battery placement is going to be somewhere around halfway in between here. And if it's really windy, I'm going to move it all the way up front because that helps me control the plane better at a windy day. Moving it towards the back when it's less windy helps me really get this thing up and do some 3D maneuvers with it. Alright, now that being said, this plane is not for the novice user. It's for intermediate to advanced flyers because it is a 3D plane. It will roll, it will fly inverted, no problems. You can really get yourself in trouble and lose orientation quick if you don't know how to fly 3D yet. So this plane might not be good for you just yet. You might consider an Ember 2 or a Vapor. I recommend the Super Cub as a starter plane for anyone. But if you feel like you've mastered those planes and you want to try something 3D but you don't want to go big, this one might be for you. Anyway, let's go out to the flying field.
You forgot to say do.
Do.
You forgot to say, no!
Do it!